Before we start building our search feature, I kind of wanted to stop and take a look at, hey, how do search features work? And so if we went ahead and we typed in San Francisco, what would end up happening is this would be translated into a map view that corresponds with this area, right? But what's happening behind the scenes? Well, it's something called geocoding in Google. The geocoding API is an API that allows the process of converting addresses, for instance, a specific address or a city or a town, into geographic coordinates like latitude and longitude, which can be used to place markers on a map or position a map. And so you have something called reverse geocoding, which is taking this and then translating it into an address. But for all intents and purposes, we need geocoding. And why do we need geocoding? Because if we look at the Places API, right? If we get an overview of the Places API, well, when we utilize the Places API, what it is taking as a location, when we look at Places search, it is taking a longitude and a latitude. We can see this when we look at, for instance, how the search would work in an example. So if we look at an example, let's see here. If we took this, right? This is a maps.googleapi.com place nearby search, and then it gives it a location. And the location is taking in the longitude and the latitude, and then potentially a radius, and you can give it type restaurant and all this other information. So this is kind of what we've been aiming towards, right? If we go look at our code, when we look at our restaurant context, when we look at the way that we structured how this works, if we look at our service, well, our transform aside, when we look at how we structured our mock data inside of index, well, we used longitude and latitude to signify a specific location, whether it be Antwerp, Toronto, Chicago, San Francisco. So we're mimicking the way that the Places API would work for us. You see, in our request, what we're doing is we're saying, give us a location, which is a string of longitude, latitude, that's comma separated. And then we're going to go look for that location. This is no different than actually doing the API call to Google. But the only difference here is because we set it up this way, and because we are setting our service up this way, we are setting ourselves up for success, because when we eventually go to integrate later in the course, in the bonus section where we try to integrate with Google API, what we're going to see here is that it's going to be very easy for us to take this information, like these lines of code, and translate them into an actual API request. Now, you may be wondering, okay, Mo, I get that. Like, our restaurant service works as if it interacted with the Places API. But, right now, our search really isn't doing anything. And that's true. That's because we don't have any geocoding in the app. Like, if we fill in San Francisco into this box, right? If we filled in San Francisco, we have nothing backing us in terms of taking that term, like that search keyword, and then translating it into longitude, latitude. So we need to go and we need to build out a service that does that for us. So that's kind of how geocoding works, right? We're going to take our search term and we're going to translate it to the longitude, latitude that translates to this specific area on the map.